Hi, I'm Neil Hunt. I'm the digital content lead of TV Connect, and I'm here with Jaako Lempinen of YLE, Head of Customer Experience.
Yeah.
Now, we've heard a lot in the past couple of days at TV Connect. Firstly, thank you for joining us.
Oh,
it's a busy,
great to be
busy
here.
day.
Great to be here.
We've heard a lot about kind of personalisation, AI, machine learning, and all of these things that you can do. Where do you sit with that? What's your experience?
I think that's like kind of the market always needs those high quality words that they can spread around, and AI and ML, machine learning, of course, are today's like the hot topics, and everybody wants to talk about them. But the thing is that still where we are actually like scientifically, we're not quite far from the starting point yet. We're quite close to the beginning or the starting point still with those terms, or how with the wide range of usage, how you could use those technologies in our industry. But I said, like when you look around here today with these booths and the techniques that you can see when you go to see like Think Analytics, for example, these are really interesting stuff that they are creating at the moment. And what's interesting, the most interesting part is that how we try to create the technologies to be given into hands of many people, not necessarily anymore the hands of data scientists or data analysts people, but like basically hands of everyone. And I think that's a good development.
So it's like giving out the sandbox or playing the sandbox.
Yeah. You can play around it with it. It's something that you can actually do something with it. It's not just like interesting words or hot words in some whiteboard in the conference room.
So we often hear kind of, the words personalisation and machine learning, content discovery, all the kind of in one homogenous mix. But I guess with all of that is what you need is good data to back it up. What are the challenges around this? Because we seem to be in a position where there's either not enough data, or it's not in the right format. What's your take on it? What sort of data do you use?
Yeah. Definitely, when I always hire at the moment, when our data scientist or try to recruit people to work with us, I always tell them that you have to understand that 80% of this work is still working with the metadata. That's just the reality of the issue still, because we have to work a lot around the data issue still, because we don't understand yet well enough how we should actually understand our content to create better processes, to create better AI for the customer UI. So that's why I think that's the one thing that, of course, you need to have good data. And the metadata, I think the whole industry has always been a little lazy, maybe with the metadata, which might be also the reason why the whole industry is a little not that good with growing. If one might say it like that, so that we are not very good at how to grow things, especially in the digital world, because we have been so big in the traditional world. So it's hard to turn your mind again to understand, okay, if we need to grow in this new industry, in this new digital area, what kind of things we must have and how we want to have it. So I think we're still working on that part still with a lot of companies. From my perspective, at least. And
we hear a lot about in that kind of content discovery, the kind of natural language algorithms. Now, obviously that's a bit of an issue for you.
Yeah. Finnish language, it's horrible. Basically, where we come from, Finnish language it's basically almost the only language spoken in Europe that hasn't got any relatives. Put aside like Hungary, there's a little relations between those languages. So that's for us, when we try to create better, for example, understanding natural language processing skills, etc., we have to do it by ourselves. Because every time when there's a vendor coming from England, from UK, from France, from somewhere else, USA, they always say that, when we can work things around, we can create your better understanding of your texts or of your audio content. And after 2 months, they always give up because Finnish language, it's too complicated.
Sounds like a challenge there that you're throwing out.
Oh, definitely. If somebody wants to come and fix our problems, more than welcome.
I mean, so where is it that you want to go with this? I mean, you mentioned just off camera then, which was an interesting point about looking at the content and the data you've got rather than audience data, because the audience is the bit that's understood.
Yeah.
I thought that was a very interesting point. Can you explain that again?
Yeah. I think the basic point is that a lot of companies, especially when they're like vendors, for example, when they come to talk to us, they always speak about the customer data, how they work with the customer data. And I think more like the customer data is not that interesting. It's not our data business. Our data business basically is how we create understanding of our content, how we create the content, how we kind of make it available for the customers, and how actually the customers consume it. So that's the most valuable data asset for us, is to create a better understanding of the content that we have, what was the purpose, why we made the content, and then combine that understanding with the interaction when people actually consume it. So we start to understand, people with these kind of backgrounds use this kind of content because we created for that purpose, and so forth. So I think that's the most valuable asset for us, and that's something that we have to work still on.
So it's almost learning with the user. So you learn about the content and the data, and then you go, well, okay, here you go. You have a look at that and see what you think of it.
Yeah. And that's the hard part, because people are not used to create, for example, like purpose. That's the hard part. Like, why did we do this content? And that's a hard question, in the sense that was it because I had to do it, or was it because I was really, really passionate about this topic? And then you start to compare that kind of data sets against the usage data, and then it becomes really interesting. It's
an interesting one, and we've heard it a lot. We've heard it about quality of service, we've heard and quality of experience is context.
Oh yeah.
And even in advertising, and now the way the way advertising is being served around, context and buying platforms. It seems that that's going to be the watchword for the next few years.
Contextual data is going to solve everything. Basically, when we understand the context of the users, who are the users consuming the content with, what is the contextual content, what is the context of our content. When we start to understand those contexts, then we are really, really far.
Sounds like a utopian world.
Jaako,
thank you very much for spending time with us. Just one last question. How have you enjoyed TV Connect?
Really much, actually. This is I've never been here before, so this is the first time, and obviously I'm quite stunned about the things that you, like the presenters or the vendors here are, so it's good to be here.
Brilliant. Again, thank you very much for your time, and safe travels.
Yeah, thank you.